If a woman tells you about her worries, pain, fears, or frustrations, she does not need you to solve her problems. She needs you to stay. She needs you to see her, to hold space, to remain strong when everything inside her trembles. In that moment, you reveal what kind of man you are. Will you become the fixer, rushing to patch her wounds, or will you become the anchor, rooted and solid, while storms rage all around? This hour will teach you to move from a man who fixes to a man who stands unshaken. You will learn to be her anchor and not her fixer. You will learn how Stoicism builds emotional power. This message will change how you connect with women forever. Most men, even with the best of intentions, fall into a deeply ingrained pattern the moment a woman they care about shares something emotional or difficult. It starts with her saying something simple like, "I've had a rough day," or "I feel overwhelmed." Almost instinctively, the man jumps into problem-solving mode. He starts offering advice, giving suggestions, or trying to cheer her up. He believes he's helping. He believes that by solving the problem, he is showing love, protection, and usefulness. But in that very moment, something subtle happens. A feeling of distance grows between them. She starts to feel unseen. She may nod or thank him, but inside, she feels a growing sense of isolation. Because what she needed wasn't a solution. What she needed was his presence. What she longed for was a moment of feeling safe enough to be vulnerable without being fixed. This is where Stoic presence becomes not just a concept, but a necessity. Stoic presence is not silence for silence's sake. It is the discipline to stay emotionally calm and rooted when emotions begin to rise around you. It's the ability to see pain and not be shaken by it. Stoic presence means resisting that first automatic urge to give answers or change how she feels. Instead, you offer something far more powerful: stillness. You offer quiet. You offer a grounded energy that says, "You are safe here. I'm not afraid of what you feel." This might sound passive, but it is anything but. It takes enormous strength to not rush to solutions. It takes emotional maturity to sit with someone's sadness, to look into their eyes while they're crying, and to say nothing other than, "I'm here with you." When you learn to embody this stillness, you become the emotional center in a moment of chaos. Your energy no longer adds to the storm. Your energy calms it. You don't try to silence her pain. You give it space to breathe. You don't try to manage her tears. You make it okay for her to cry. She feels you, not as a man trying to escape her feelings, but as a man strong enough to remain present inside them. In this space, something incredible happens. Trust builds. Respect grows. She doesn't see you as someone trying to dominate her or dismiss her emotions. She sees you as someone strong enough to carry his own weight and strong enough to let her carry hers without judgment. Real strength is not loud. Real strength does not interrupt vulnerability. Real strength does not flinch in the face of emotional expression. It stays, it listens, it breathes, and most importantly, it does not try to change what does not need changing. Many relationships suffer not because there is a lack of love, but because there is a lack of emotional presence. Too many men believe that love means action, but the highest form of love is presence. It's the ability to remain calm in discomfort, to stay even when things feel messy, to resist the need to fix, and instead become someone who can be leaned on, consistently, reliably, quietly. So, if you want to become a man who truly understands what women need emotionally, stop reacting. Start responding with silence, with steadiness, and with confidence in your calm. When you do, you become more than just her partner. You become her sanctuary. One of the most common patterns that silently sabotages relationships today is how men misinterpret what emotional support truly looks like. Most men are raised to believe that their value comes from their ability to solve problems. We live in a world that teaches men that to be useful is to be productive, and that to love someone is to remove their pain as quickly and efficiently as possible. So when a woman comes to a man with her problems, her worries, or her heavy emotions, his first instinct is to fix it. Not because he doesn't care, but precisely because he does. He wants to be helpful, to reduce her suffering, and to bring her back to peace. The problem is that this approach, while well-meaning, often completely misses the mark emotionally. She may start to share something painful or vulnerable, and he immediately jumps into action, offering advice, questioning her logic, suggesting what she should do next, or even interrupting to speed the conversation along. He's in solve mode, trying to bring order to what feels like chaos. But from her perspective, it doesn't feel like support. It feels like avoidance. It feels like distance. It feels like he is more uncomfortable with her pain than present with her heart. What he sees as love, she experiences as pressure. What he believes is guidance, she hears as correction. And without realizing it, he begins to shut down the very emotional connection she was reaching for. Another common mistake is the fear of silence. Many men are uncomfortable when emotions rise and conversations become heavy. Instead of allowing space for feelings to exist, they rush to fill the silence with suggestions or jokes or distractions. But silence is sacred in emotional moments. It is often in the quiet that trust builds. When a man fears silence and always tries to fill it, he robs her of the space to process, to feel, to open up. She begins to feel rushed. She starts to think that her emotions are too much, and little by little, she closes off. Then there's the mistake of arguing when he should be listening. Sometimes, when her emotions seem illogical or dramatic to him, a man will start to challenge her. He thinks he's being rational or bringing clarity, but what she experiences is disconnection. She doesn't want a debate. She wants to feel heard. When a man counters her emotions with facts or reason, it feels dismissive, even if he's being accurate. Emotional connection is not about proving who's right. It's about proving that you care, especially in the moments when logic isn't what's needed. Men also lose emotional influence when they try to steer or manage a woman's feelings instead of simply holding them. When you try to control or redirect how she feels, it sends a subtle message. I am not okay with your emotional state. That lack of acceptance creates resistance. She may become more defensive, more emotional, or more withdrawn, not because she's unreasonable, but because she feels judged. She no longer feels emotionally safe. The more you try to fix her feelings, the more she feels like a problem instead of a person. And slowly, trust begins to erode. Most damaging of all is when a man reacts with frustration or impatience. When he cannot remain grounded and instead becomes visibly annoyed or emotionally reactive, the foundation of respect begins to crack. Women don't need a man who mirrors their emotions. They need a man who can contain his own. When he begins to spiral or gets angry because she's upset, he stops being a source of stability. In that moment, she feels more alone than ever before. The message she receives is, I can't come to you with my truth without you falling apart. The truth is that women don't want perfect men. They don't expect you to have all the answers. What they long for, what they deeply need, is a man who doesn't flinch when things get emotional. A man who listens without rushing. A man who stays steady when the waters rise. That man becomes unforgettable. That man becomes trusted. That man becomes respected, not because he fixes everything, but because he knows how to be a presence that never wavers. Your role is not to manage her emotions like a system. Your role is to be the anchor she can rely on when the waves hit hard. And when you embrace that role fully, your relationships shift from confusion and conflict to connection and trust. When a woman begins to open up emotionally, whether it's about something that hurt her, overwhelmed her, or simply left her feeling vulnerable, it's a powerful moment. But for many men, this is where discomfort sets in. A wave of tension moves through the body. There's an urge to jump in, to do something, to fix, to talk. That discomfort comes from not knowing how to stay grounded in the presence of someone else's emotions. Emotional grounding is the art of becoming still in that moment. It's the skill of remaining so connected to your own body, your own breath, and your own mind, that no matter what emotional turbulence appears around you, you stay steady. The first step in emotional grounding is awareness. When she begins to share something deep, pause. Literally pause. Don't move. Don't speak. Don't fidget. Just stop. In that pause, turn your attention inward. Feel your breath moving through your body. Inhale through your nose slowly. Hold it gently. Then exhale even more slowly. Let your breath be your anchor. It will remind your nervous system that you are safe, present, and in control of your own energy. Do this again and again. As you breathe, bring your awareness down into your feet. Feel them connected to the floor. Feel the weight of your body being held by the earth. This small shift in attention moves you out of your head and into your body, where strength lives. Do not speak until you feel this steadiness. Too many words are spoken from discomfort. Too much advice is given from anxiety. But when you speak from a grounded place, your voice carries weight. It becomes calm, warm, and stable. That's the energy women feel and trust. In these moments, your power is not in your words, but in your presence. Let your silence speak. Let it say, I'm not afraid of your pain. That silent message says more than advice ever could. It says, I am here. You are safe. You may still feel the urge to solve the problem. That urge is natural, especially if you're someone who loves deeply. But understand that you do not need to erase her pain. You do not need to reach into her emotional world and rearrange it for her. You are not there to clean up the mess. You are there to remain steady while she moves through it. That's what it means to hold space. And holding space is one of the most masculine things a man can do. It means she gets to feel everything without being judged, rushed, or managed. It means she gets to be fully herself while you stay fully rooted in yourself. Every time you feel emotionally triggered, practice this. Pause, breathe, feel your feet, and listen. Each time you resist the urge to react, you grow stronger. Each time you stay quiet and grounded instead of offering a rushed solution, you build emotional muscle. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And over time, this practice rewires how you operate in every area of life, not just in relationships. You begin to respond instead of react. You become less ruled by impulse and more governed by intention. You speak less, but when you do, your words carry the weight of presence. That's the power of grounded masculinity. And the best part is that she feels it. She feels that you are calm, not because you're holding something back, but because you've mastered yourself. She feels that you're not trying to escape her emotions. You're choosing to stay. That kind of presence is rare. It creates safety on a deep level. It makes her open up more, trust more, and relax into your energy. She doesn't just feel supported, she feels held. Not physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And that changes everything. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily practice, but it's one that transforms you over time. You become the kind of man whose energy cannot be shaken. You become someone who walks into a room and brings calm with you. You become someone she knows she can trust in her most vulnerable moments. Not because you have all the answers, but because you never need to run from her emotions. Your ability to stay grounded becomes the foundation of emotional leadership. And in today's world, that kind of leadership is rare and desperately needed. When someone opens up emotionally, they are not asking you to reach into their mind and rearrange their feelings. They are asking you to sit beside them while they reveal what's inside. They want to know, can I show you this part of myself and still feel safe? If your instinct is to immediately respond with advice, solutions, or redirections, you're unconsciously making it about your discomfort rather than her vulnerability. The right response in moments like this isn't clever or complex. It's simple. It's steady. You say, I hear you. You say it calmly. You mean it. And then you pause. That pause matters more than anything. It shows that you're not trying to rush her out of this space. You're giving her permission to be exactly where she is without needing to change or edit herself to make you comfortable. Holding space means you allow her to express whatever she's carrying without trying to carry it for her. You don't hijack the moment with your own fears or need for control. You don't try to save her from her feelings. You let her feel them fully, completely, without trying to manage or minimize. That takes strength. And it's the kind of strength most men aren't taught. It requires patience. It requires presence. It requires a deep belief that she is capable of moving through her emotions without being rescued, and that your role is not to intervene, but to be the steady presence that keeps the room from spinning. Don't underestimate what your silence can offer. Most people avoid silence because it makes them feel powerless. But when used with intention, silence becomes one of the most powerful tools you have. It tells her, you don't have to rush. I'm not uncomfortable with your truth. I won't disappear when you get emotional. I am strong enough to stand here, right beside you, and hold it with you. That kind of presence is unforgettable. It builds trust at a level words cannot reach. She will feel emotionally safe in your company, not because you fixed anything, but because you didn't flinch. This is the essence of emotional leadership. Not taking control of someone's emotions, but offering calm so they can find their own way through. When you master this, when you begin to truly hold space word by word, moment by moment, you change not only how women see you, but how you see yourself. You become someone who no longer reacts to emotions with fear or discomfort, but someone who welcomes them with strength and grace. And in a world full of emotional noise, your silence becomes rare, your stillness becomes sacred, and your presence becomes unforgettable. Trust is not built in grand romantic gestures or in the highlight reels of your relationship. It is built quietly, slowly, and often invisibly in the most emotionally charged moments. Respect isn't something she gives because you demand it. It's something she feels when she sees you remain grounded while her world shakes. And emotional polarity, that magnetic push and pull that creates deep attraction, is not created by charm, money, or words. It is created when a woman senses that you are emotionally unshakable, that when life becomes messy, you don't collapse. You remain steady. You remain you. She will not always ask directly, but she will always be watching. She'll test you, not maliciously, but instinctively. It's not about manipulation or games. It's how the feminine determines the strength of the masculine. When her emotions swell, when she cries, becomes overwhelmed, lashes out, pulls away, or spirals into uncertainty. What she's really asking is, can you handle this? Can you stay calm when I'm chaotic? Can you love me when I'm not easy to love? These moments are not just emotional outbursts, they are doorways into deeper intimacy. But only if you walk through them with grounded energy. When you pass these emotional tests, not by dominating or arguing, but by remaining still and present, you unlock a deeper level of connection. You don't flinch when she's raw. You don't retreat when she's expressive. You don't shut down when she becomes emotional. You stay. You don't have to speak. You don't have to solve. You don't have to make her feel better. You just have to remain whole. That stability does something no amount of gifts, compliments, or promises can do. It earns her trust. And trust is the foundation of everything: emotional closeness, physical intimacy, respect, and lasting connection. Respect grows in these quiet, powerful moments, not because you are tough or stoic in a cold way, but because you have learned how to manage yourself emotionally. You have trained yourself to remain calm in the presence of chaos. You have chosen to be the calm center of the storm rather than another whirlwind of emotional reaction. When she senses that you are calm, not detached, not cold, but calm in a deeply rooted way, her nervous system relaxes around you. She starts to feel like she can finally put her guard down, because you are not going to crumble under her truth. This emotional steadiness also feeds into what is known as emotional polarity. Polarity is the energy gap between masculine and feminine that creates desire, fire, and long-term chemistry. When a man tries too hard to please, to smooth everything over, or to emotionally mirror a woman in the name of being connected, that polarity disappears. The dynamic becomes flat. He's no longer a grounded container. He's an emotional twin. And while it might seem compassionate or emotionally available, what she actually feels is a loss of safety. Because if she's lost in emotion and you are too, who is holding the container? Polarity is maintained when the masculine stays grounded while the feminine flows freely. It's not about control, it's about containment. You don't control her, but you contain your own emotional landscape so fully that you become the steady mirror she can look into. She sees that while her emotions may shift from moment to moment, yours remain centered. You're not chasing comfort. You're not reacting to her every mood. You're leading with internal discipline. And that quiet leadership becomes magnetic. That's what makes you deeply attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. Women are not looking for perfection. They're not asking for emotionless walls. They are looking for emotional reliability. A man who does not fold under pressure. A man who feels deeply but remains composed. A man who knows how to stay present in discomfort and who honors her expression without being overtaken by it. That is rare. That is powerful. And that is what builds the kind of trust that lasts a lifetime. She will drift. That is part of her emotional nature. She will go through moments where she is uncertain, overwhelmed, or even irrational. That doesn't mean she is broken. That doesn't mean she is testing you to play games. It means she needs to feel if the man beside her has the emotional depth and groundedness to stand still when everything around her feels like it's spinning. The feminine flows like the ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes chaotic, always moving. If you try to match that movement, if you try to flow with her or fix her tide, you'll both be swept away. Your job is not to change her weather. Your job is to become the structure she can orient herself by. Becoming the lighthouse means understanding the emotional storms she brings are not about you, and they are not threats. They are opportunities, chances for you to show her that you can be still, that you can be rooted, that your identity does not rise and fall with her mood. You must embody stability so deeply that she feels it without you having to say a word. That doesn't mean you're cold or emotionless. It means that your emotions are processed through discipline and your reactions are filtered through wisdom. You speak only when your words carry calm. You move only when your actions bring clarity. Everything else you let pass like waves crashing against the rock that you are. This kind of presence creates emotional safety. It builds a sense of peace in her nervous system because she feels that no matter how loud the emotional winds may get, you are not going anywhere. You are not folding. You are not trying to fix her or shut her down. You're just standing there, calm, attentive, grounded. She may not even fully understand why she feels more secure around you, but she will. It's your stillness. It's your depth. It's your refusal to be shaken when most men would run, react, or retreat. The emotional weight of a relationship is real. You will feel moments where you're unsure how to respond, moments where her words or actions might trigger your defensiveness. But becoming the lighthouse means learning to remain internally still, even if you are temporarily uncomfortable. You let the storm pass. You do not let it enter you. Your foundation is self-awareness. Your walls are discipline. And your light, the energy you radiate, is calm leadership. That is what she looks for, even when she doesn't say it out loud. Do not chase her approval. Do not seek her emotional validation. Do not try to control her reactions. Instead, respect yourself so deeply that you hold your ground with love. Let your character do the talking. Let your consistency do the proving. Be the light that makes her feel safe to soften. Be the structure she returns to, not because you pull her back, but because your presence calls her home. You are not here to fix her. You are here to stay with her. You are not here to solve every problem. You are here to carry presence, to be strength, to be steady. If you finish this message, you are stronger than you think. If you embed these truths, you will transform your relationships. Support this channel. When you support, you bring these insights to women who need to hear them. Women who deserve to feel seen. When you subscribe or share, you change lives.